Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Good Morning Shift podcast. I'm your host, Rohila, and today's quote is brought to you by the spiritual Dalai Lama, who said, "Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions." Again, happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. And I will say this will be a slightly longer episode than normal because I'm so just excited about this quote, right? Happiness isn't a gift that you just receive. It's something that you create through your daily choices and habits. Think about all the things that make you happy. You weren't just born with that. There were things that happened in your life, actions, thoughts, feelings, emotions that drove you to recognize that as something that makes you happy. An example of this that affects my life is when I went to college. I went to a school in Western Washington that often would get snow. And one of the things that I loved is on my way to one of my classes, I would stop by and get an ice cold Pepsi whenever it snowed. And at the time, it wasn't a big deal. It was just, I was thirsty, grabbed an ice cold Pepsi. But what it does now is it reminds me of that time, a simple time, a time that truly just made me happy. And that's when I first started writing down things that make me happy. I started creating a list. And what that did was it transformed my entire outlook on life. Because now I know that when it snows, if I have an ice cold Pepsi, it's going to make me smile, right? The more you do that kind of stuff, the more you make a list of things that make you happy, it'll be easier for you to recognize when certain things are happening that make you happy. Another example is I was at a conference in Salt Lake City, and on the way to the conference, passed by a building that had a lot of roses out front. And I was walking with one of my colleagues, and I stopped and smelt the roses. And he kept on walking, and then when he finally realized I wasn't with him, he came back and was just laughing and said, "I've never known anyone besides you who would actually stop to smell the roses," right? Because it made me happy. It was just a quick thing that I decided in the moment. Beautiful flower, let me smell it. It just brought me peace. And I wrote that down. And so now that I'm consciously aware that smelling flowers makes me happy, guess what I do more of now? And that's what you can do as well. Create a list of things that make you happy. And what you'll find is that you just find more things to make you happy in life now that you're consciously aware of it. Think of a time when you are thinking about buying a car, right? You rarely see that car out on the streets, but now that you are thinking about buying that car, you see that car everywhere. What changed? Was subconsciously you're aware that now because you are consciously aware of it. So the more things you write down in your happiness journal, the more you'll look out for those things and you'll find your attitude changing. So with that, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.